In today's episode, I'll be giving my review and reaction to the first episode in the 48th season of Survivor titled The Get to Know You Game. So let's dive right into the Get to Know You game.
Do something, man. People are questioning you. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the Dub Cast.
Starting off another season of Survivor, I'm hyped. Reading the preseason stuff in this cast, I didn't do my usual research because I didn't think I was doing a draft of the players, or at least the usual draft that I do. So I didn't know a ton going in, but looked like we had some characters on the outset of this season, and this first episode was not bad. Definitely delivered some interesting moments, so let's dive right into it. I'm excited for the rest of season 48 to play out. Survivor is back. I'm hyped. So right off the bat, we start off Survivor Season 48 with a cool opening montage of the players all learning they're on Survivor. Now, I think with the new era coming into effect in the past couple of years, they really kind of peeled the curtain back on the casting process. And I think even someone had mentioned this on a podcast that I listened to, even you hear a producer's voice talking to the contestants. So good for them. They're showing props to their casting people. I think a lot of people dislike a lot of things happening with Survivor, but I don't think you can really knock the casting. I mean, looking at the past couple seasons, there's been standouts in every season of the show since they started the new casting process. Even I know Lynn Spellman was out after Edge of Extinction, but even in Island of Idols, like you casted Elaine, you casted Karishma, you casted Tommy and Lauren. Like Tommy's really boring, but there were some interesting characters in that season. Janet, like I think this new casting team has done a good job, so it's cool to see them get their recognition, and also just see them land another decently looking cast. I mean, all these people living there on Survivor, it's cool. Not really the most riveting thing, but an interesting way to start it up. And we're on season 48, so might as well say, let's get a little behind the scenes. So, as usual, the players come in on their boats, 3 different boats for the 3 different tribes. And we have opening confessionals. Now I took down the 3 people that got really the opening confessionals on the boat. After that, it didn't really count. So we had Joe, Sai, and Eva. Obviously, I think right off the bat, all 3 of those characters all 3 of those players will be very important characters of the season's story moving forward. And yeah, I haven't done my proper research on the opening confessionals, who gets what. I think they're sort of metagaming it now, where they, a lot of the times, the people I follow, the Edgic people, not to get too deep into Edgic, which is, for those people who don't know that, that's trying to predict who will win the show based off the editing of the show. I don't know what the opening confessionals means after last season because I don't think Rachel had a lot until the merge. Dee didn't really come on as a strong winner till the merge. Kenzie, same thing. I mean, the signs are there, but it's like you're kind of picking through different stuff. You don't really know which one's going to win. So definitely going to keep my eye on all 3 of those players. I don't think Sai is going to win the game. I think she'll be like one of those people that's like, after you watch the season, you rewatch, you're like, yep, she's an important character. That's why we're opening confessional with her. Anyways, we have our initial challenge between the 3 tribes. Right off the bat, you're going to try and earn supplies. One tribe wins, the other 2 lose. Don't get their supplies, and we'll do another challenge to see between those 2 tribes who wins the supplies. Our purple team wins. I'm sorry, I'm not good with the tribe names. It's only episode 1. Luckily for me, I do have all the players' names down, but the tribe names, I just don't really care. So purple team wins supplies, and like last season, we saw with Asia and TK, now 2 players will be sent off for the chance to win their supplies to their team. They will go face-to-face in some sort of challenge. Last season, they had the picture, and you try and go around and find where that picture is, and the clues, kind of a little clunky challenge. We'll get into what this challenge is in a bit. So we start off with the dynamics in the winning tribe, of course. They just won their supplies, so everything's very kumbaya. We see an initial alliance form between Bianca and Thomas. Thomas is gelling well with the different players on the team. I was very impressed by Thomas this episode. I think he has the skill set to really do well in this game. I mean, we see him talk about how you need to change your personality to different people in order to, or different, not change your personality, but show different sides of your personality or present your personality in a different way. I think that's really important to Survivor. Not to get into too much of my own story, but I was playing an org game and I was doing the same type of thing. And yeah, people thought I was going to win the game at final 11, but that's a story for another day. Anyways, so yeah, Thomas I really like so far. I feel like we kind of get a little bit more of him, but what we did see, I did like a lot out of him, so I'm keeping my eye on Thomas. On the other tribe, we have the Green Tribe, which Sai is the game player here. She hits the ground running right away. She's going to be the one to say, let's make an alliance. I think in the new era with tribes of 6, it's always going to be you need to get your initial group of 4, and then after that, things can kind of figure themselves out because if you ever need to go to a tribal council, you'll have 2 options. Shot in the dark, 2, 2, 2, all the different math stuff. You need 4 people, 4 out of 6. So Sai immediately grabs all the men, which on that tribe is Cedric, Justin, and then they include Kevin, even though Kevin's not with them. Lucky for Kevin, Asia didn't get the same love on season 47. But yeah, Kevin is just automatically a part of this alliance, even though he's never even met any of these people. So that's an interesting group to watch moving forward, especially later on in the episode with the result. So we have the head-to-head matchup between Kyle and Kevin for the supplies to win. A really interesting challenge where you're not digging, but you're pulling up a rope, and then the rope like unravels in the sand, and you have to get to certain obstacles and get other supplies by doing different things. Essentially, it comes down to at the end you have to fill a jug with water in order to have I believe it wasn't the flint, it was some sort of key or something to win the challenge. Anyways, Kyle's going to break his jug on accident, and then he helps Kevin get his water instead of just standing around and watching him do it on his own. So that was a really nice sportsmanship moment. But really, like, I don't want to, good job, Kyle. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. So they both return to camp. Kyle is back now with the Orange team, and he is going to join the club of the season 45 people and lie about being a lawyer, saying he's a doctor. Why do people lie? Like, are people really scared of lawyers on Survivor? What's a lawyer? Like, I guess they can talk well, but like that doesn't always equate to being like, I don't know, a crazy strategist or something like that. Like, I feel like at that point, I feel like that came up that he's going to lie about being a doctor in the future and he's going to get caught because if you're a doctor, you have to have very specific knowledge and stuff. I'm trying to think if there's a doctor on a different tribe. I don't know the jobs all that well at this point, but I think that's going to be a bad idea for Kyle to lie about being a lawyer and say he's being a doctor or say he is a doctor, or I think he may say he's actually an elementary school teacher or something. I forget. Either way, just tell the truth about your job and your life. I think that makes the game a lot easier than keeping up a facade. But it seems like every one of these seasons, Big Brother, Survivor, somebody's always lying about their job. So who am I to stop it? On the purple team, we have the most emotional moment of the episode as Joe and Eva form an early alliance together. Eva has autism. I don't think it's that severe, she said, but sometimes she'll get so wrapped up in herself and she'll do certain things, certain actions that she needs someone there who will support her in case that happens. And she found the perfect man in Joe to do that. Really emotional scene, almost a tear. Joe's like, I'll lay down my whole game for her, and that's going to be a powerful duo moving forward, especially because Eva has shown, even at camp life, that she just cranks out the bamboo over and over again and is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm rooting for Eva. She's from somewhere else that's not Rhode Island, but she went to school and now lives in Rhode Island, so we're claiming her. That is our girl. Team Rhode Island, Team Eva. We haven't had a Survivor winner since Richard Hatch. So 47 seasons later, Eva, keep my eye on it. So that's a strong alliance between Joe and Eva. A really strong episode for Joe as well. So on the Green Tribe, they are kind of sitting around, and Sai, already playing a level 1,000 of the game, decides she's going to go look for that idol. She finds the Beware advantage that has to unlock with a code. Now, there's been a lot of discussion online of whether certain aspects of the idol challenges are different and harder for each tribe. I guess we'll wait and see what happens with the other 2 tribes. But this one, you have to sort of find letters, and there's animals and stuff around the camp. Someone else also said on X, I believe, formerly known as Twitter, I'll never stop saying Twitter, that I lost my train of thought. This is great podcasting. Someone was saying that you can't really do that challenge by yourself. you need help with other people to come and help you unlock the code by searching different stuff and everything. So I thought that that was an interesting idea, but I think you could solve this by yourself, especially if you're not going to go to tribal council for a while, have a lot of time, free time to just do whatever. But yeah, so Sai's going to have to work on that in order to get her idol out of this sort of cylinder that is locked behind with a word puzzle across it. Really interesting. I mean, by the time season 60 comes around, we're going to be like, these idol challenges are going to be crazy. So on the Purple Tribe, Star also leaves camp to find idols. What? It's season 48. Like, Star seems like a great person. I'm not trying to rag on her personally. But what are we doing getting up and leaving camp on day 2? That just paints an immediate target on your back, especially if you get caught doing it. Like, if you have a friend doing it with you, that's at least less suspicious because you're out there by yourselves. You know, no one, it's 2 people instead of 1. But I feel like every season I'm saying this. Why are we looking for the idol on day 1? What's the point? I really don't understand that. It seems like Star has put herself completely on the outside by doing that. And while that's happening, Thomas, Joe, and Shaheen come together to form the California Girls Alliance, which is a really interesting name. Shout out Katy Perry, California. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, I like that alliance, that trio. I really like Joe and Thomas and Shaheen. I know from the preseason of season 46 and of this season that he's going to be a character too. So I'm hoping the purple team doesn't really lose because I'm liking everyone on their squad so far. Bianca didn't get a lot, but you know she seems like an interesting person. Same with Star, besides outing herself. But they kind of have to decide whether they want to include Eva or they want to include Bianca or both because Thomas and Bianca are together and then Eva and Joe are together. So we'll have to see moving forward if they were to ever lose, who would fall on the outside of that and who would be on the inside of their alliance. So back to the Orange Tribe and their dynamics, we meet David. We've already met him, but a lot of David content here. He's a stuntman. He's notably one of the only people on the show who, in the past couple of years, who doesn't even watch the show. I think Cody sticks out as somebody else who they recruited, but I like this casting difference where 47 you have all the game botters and all the people who are like very strategy focused, and these people are kind of just like they're not super fans. You know, they like the show, but they're not going to be like knowing all the probabilities and stuff. I think that was the same with season 45 and season 46, and yeah, I'm excited for this season because I think it's gonna be a little less like I think it's gonna be a lot of surprising stuff. Well, we'll see. Anyways, back to David. So his 3 questions. Shout out Rick Grimes. That he asked everyone, "What car do you drive? What's your favorite movie? And how do you like your steak cooked?" Let's take this one by one. So, what car do you drive? Now, this for me means absolutely nothing. I would never really care what anyone would ever answer about what kind of car they drive. The only thing I think that indicates is wealth, which may be his thing, and he wants to just know where your economic status is. Okay, so I'll also answer these questions. So I drive a Honda Accord. So what does that make me, David? What does driving Honda Accord mean about my personality? How can you diagnose everything about me by that question? So if you ever listen to this podcast, David, leave a comment below and what that helps. What's your favorite movie? Now, this one I think is actually the best question of the 3 by far. This could tell a lot about somebody. Now, if they give a basic ass answer, then you're like, okay, they're not really, you know, as somebody who reviews movies on a podcast, I consider myself a movie buff. No, but I think this is a good question because you can kind of go off that, ask more follow-up questions, kind of tell what their vibe is. Like he says some rom-com that I've never heard of. And that's like, oh, he's like trying to be the typical, like I like rom-coms, but I'm like way 280 and I'm jacked type of vibe. So I'm watching out for David. No, not really, but interesting choice for his favorite movie. How do you like your steak cooked? I just get everything medium burgers, medium steak. Like I like to see whatever the pink. What people ask me, pink or no pink. I have no idea what that even means. I'm like, I just get it medium. That's all I've ordered my whole life. Maybe I'm missing out on the medium rare or I think well done's bad. I don't know what people want because I just order medium. So all the people out there, diagnose me. Honda Accord. My favorite movie. See, this is a tough one. I have my top 4. I'll say my favorite movie is Inception. I really need to do a deep dive and rewatch all my top movies and then really say, This is number one, but if someone asks me, I'll say Inception. How do you like your steak cooked? Medium. So what does that diagnose me as under David's 3 questions? Let me know down below. So other goings on this tribe, Kyle and Camilla somehow have a ton of similarities between each other. So that's an easy way to form a bond. And then they also pull in Chrissy and David just because they're the other 2 people sitting there, leaving out Charity, who I haven't talked about at all, and then Mitch, who I also haven't talked about at all. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if this lasts. It seemed kind of like a circumstantial alliance. Not sure how much stock we're supposed to put in that. But we'll keep moving. The hunt continues for Sai, running around. So there's different animals with different colors. The colors correspond with letters. So there's a blue fish, for example, and then if it's the blue 3, you take the S because that's the 3rd letter of fish, essentially. So Cedric's able to help her a lot with this, and other team members in her alliance are also able to help. She cracks the code of the animal symbols and the colored letters and gets an immunity idol. It's not like last season where it's only going to be good for 1 tribe account, then you upgrade. It's going to be a good full immunity idol. So I'm expecting that idol to be played very soon by Sai. We will see though. So the immunity challenge, honestly, recording this obviously pretty late. Oh, I forgot to explain my lateness. I was in Washington, D.C. this weekend visiting some friends. So I'm just lazy also because I could have just recorded on Wednesday or Thursday night. But would you guys like to see a guest or guests on this Survivor recap? No one ever comments my videos, so I won't get the answer to that. But I think I'm going to try and do some guest work, especially if I'm going to post late. Like, if you don't post Wednesday night, what's the point, right? So I have a couple friends that maybe we'll try and pull in here and talk some Survivor. I think that would go really well. Anyways, that's why I was late. Sorry, this is going to be coming out Monday morning. Monday morning Survivor, right? But yeah, don't really remember the immunity challenge. There's a puzzle at the end. Purple wins the first immunity. Orange wins second after a late comeback. They were behind on the puzzle. Stephanie and Kevin in charge of the puzzle, which, why was the guy, Kevin, by the way, if you are unaware, had his shoulder dislocated on the marooning challenge, that first challenge with the supplies, which they'd cut out of the show, but why are we having the guy who can't lift his arm do the puzzle, bro? Like, God, some of the decisions I just will never understand. Because you have to build it up, like put pieces in there. It is what it is. I don't know why he was doing it, but that is that. Honestly, after the immunity challenge, there's not really a lot of stuff left in this. I think they were really trying to build up these tribes and the dynamics early on in this first episode, because I feel like we got a lot of content on that, because there's not a lot of scrambling content between the Green Tribe now having lost and Tribal Council. So the basics of it, Justin and Kevin are the early swing votes, deciding between Steph or Sai. Sai has Cedric on with her, and Steph has Mary with her. So Justin and Kevin are in the middle. They both have somewhat of an alliance with both. Justin seems like a chill guy. I haven't mentioned him yet either. So Tribal Council hits. Nothing really notable here besides Stephanie saying she's an air sign person, and the Libras and the Zodiacs and the Cancers. I don't know any of that stuff. I really just keep that off Survivor, please. I'm sorry. I thought this was going to be a Kendra 2.0. I do like Stephanie, but I mean, I kind of agree with Sai. Sai is just being mad spicy, and telling her, like, you look in the stars, and I came here to play a game. I mean, obviously this is the contrast to the max of 2 different styles of gameplay. I think Stephanie was going for the more cerebral approach, meet people, talk to people, form social bonds, while Sai, the second she got on the beach, was like, we're allies and we're going to run this game together. So obviously in this episode and this season, it pays off, or in this tribe, pays off better for Sai, because the social bonds don't mean much, because Sai's already formed the alliances. So yeah, Sai correctly predicts Stephanie playing her shot in the dark, and Stephanie did in fact play her shot in the dark. It is not safe. So in a 4-1 vote, Stephanie Berger is the first person voted out of Survivor Season 48. I like Stephanie. Thought she had some potential on the show moving forward, but I'm not going to really be like sitting back and being missing Stephanie on the show. She was just kind of there. Obviously, you can say that about a lot of people who get voted out first. So honestly, solid episode. Not the greatest, not the worst. Just a nice premiere, getting to meet everyone. Excited to see what the season has moving forward. Now, if you're new to my Survivor reviews, I always give my top 3 players to win and my top 3 players out next, until we get down to really numbers that it just seems stupid to do that. So my top 3 players to win. Number 1, I got Thomas. Biased because I drafted him on a couple of my teams, but I think Thomas is setting up in a really good position. I think he has a better skill set for the game than number 2. But time will tell. I think Thomas right now is in a very good spot. Got a lot of content this episode. Number 2, I got Joe. Obviously, very strong emotional connection with Eva. I just worry about him later in the game being a threat. I don't think people are just going to let him skate by. I think Thomas, you might forget about a Thomas in a voting round. I don't know if they'll forget about Joe. Both 2 purple men, though. And then my 3rd, I gave to Kevin. Maybe circumstantial here because Green Tribe loses. Kevin's on the challenge, but it seems like we just saw a lot of Kevin. If I had to pick another, I don't even know who else would be number 3. I think my early prediction for the season, before the season even came on, was that a man's going to win the season. Women have won the last 3 seasons, and in the 7 seasons of the new era, 5 women have won, which good for them because there was a run in the 30s where all men won, but I think a man's going to win the season. That's my bold prediction. I'm not going to keep if there's a woman contender that arises to my top 3, then I'll put them in there, but those are my top 3 for now. As time has gone on and I've thought about the episode more, I probably wouldn't put Kevin number 3. I don't know who I put number 3, but that's my top 3 for now. Thomas, Joe, Kevin, top 3 to win. Top 3 players out next. Usually early on, I like to do one from each tribe. I feel like the lines are pretty drawn right now, so we'll have to see if things get interesting or spicy. So from the Green Tribe, I think it's Mary. I do think Mary has some longevity in her game, though. I feel like, I don't know, I don't think she's going to be the next voted out. I could be totally wrong on that, but it seems like that Green Tribe's kind of a mess. So we'll see what happens with that, but if I had to pick right now, obviously she's on the outs, was on the outs of the vote, not with that alliance. So Mary goes there. On the purple team, everyone has an ally except for Star. Bianca's connected to Thomas, Eva's connected to Joe, and then the 3 men have an alliance. So that leaves Star out pretty easily. So yeah, I don't think the purple's going to lose for a while, but if I had to pick one, it's easily Star. Now last on the list, and 3rd person I think may have a chance of going home, Charity. Charity was doing too much, talking about Kyle, thinking he got an advantage on the first journey of the season. It wasn't really a journey, though. You're fighting for supplies. I guess him coming back with nothing was maybe suspect, but that kind of puts her on the outs where the other 4 form an alliance. Seems like Mitch is also kind of in good with people, so I think Charity's in trouble. But all 3 of those seem like very basic vote-offs, so I think there's going to be more complexity involved. We'll have to see what happens. So what was your guys' opinion on Survivor Season 48, Episode 1, the Get to Know You game? I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. That was a fine episode. Not the most exciting result, but there was some fun along the way. So that's my review for that episode. Let me know down below, and stay tuned for more Survivor content across the season. Click that subscribe button, like, dislike, comment your thoughts. Upcoming stuff on the Dubcast. We got Thank You for Smoking movie review and Glorious Bastards movie review and Beautiful Boy movie review. Sports stuff. Taking a little bit of a break until March Madness starts. Actually, no, I lied. We'll have UFC 313 this week. So it's all happening. The content is back. A little bit of a break because I was in DC. Had a great time. Thanks for asking. So yeah, that'll do it here today. And as always, be easy.